welcome, and in today's session we will be talking about the estimation of hemoglobin by Drapkin's method. So in the earlier session you have used the Sahali's method to estimate the content of hemoglobin present in the blood sample, whereas today we will be using the Drapkin's method. First, let's understand the principle behind this procedure. So the main and the only reagent for this method of hemoglobin estimation is Drapkin's method. And the Drapkin's reagent contains potassium ferricyanide, potassium cyanide and sodium bicarbonate. The ferrous ion of hemoglobin is oxidized to ferric ion to form methaglobin. This is due to the ferricyanide at alkaline pH. Now this methaglobin is converted into a more stable compound by potassium cyanide, forming a red colored complex. This red colored complex is photometrically measured at 540 nanometers, and the intensity of the red color complex is proportional to the hemoglobin content present in the blood. Now moving to the procedure, as I already informed that the only reagent used for this method is the Drapkin's reagent, and I also told you that this reagent contains cyanide. So this reagent has to be handled carefully. So moving on to the procedure, we just need two test tubes. I've labeled one is blank and the other is labeled as test. So now to both of these test tubes, I will be adding 5 ml of the Drapkin's reagent. Now as I earlier told you that the cyanide is the key component in this reagent, there should be no mouth pipetting. So 5 ml of the Drapkin's reagent is added into both the test tubes. Now for the next step, in the test sample we will be adding 0.02 ml of blood, and we will be using the whole blood, which means it should not be allowed to clot. So I will be using a micropipette to take out 0.02 ml of blood and is added into the test sample. Now make sure all of the blood is dissolved into the Drapkin's reagent. This can be mixed well, and now we are going to keep this aside for 5 minutes of incubation. Now after 5 minutes of incubation, we will be using a hemoglobinometer to estimate the color that was produced. So first step that we follow to start testing the hemoglobin is we take the blank. I've already taken this blank into the cuvette. We place it in the slot and we set the value to be 0. Now once you see a 0 on the screen, it means the instrument is calibrated. You can now take out the blank solution. In the next step, after the calibration is done with the blank, we take the standard hemoglobin. As you can see, it was taken from a chemically available or industrially available solution. We place that cuvette into the slot . And we set the value. For calibration, we click this switch and at the same time we set it to 7. Once it is set to 7, it automatically comes to 15. This means that the instrument is calibrated. Moving forward, now we can use the test sample. So I will be using this cuvette, and this is the test sample with the blood. We take 3/4 of the cuvette filled with this sample. And place it back into the slot. Now whatever is the value appearing on the screen, you can note it down, and this is how we calculate the amount of hemoglobin using Drapkin's method. And we all know the clinical significance of hemoglobin, and there is a specific concentration of hemoglobin that has to be present in the blood, and it is all specific to men, women and children differently.